Hello everyone. So I welcome you all for the rapid revision of strategic management. So this is the rapid revision of not CA Inter Strategic Management. This is a rapid revision of IPCC, which was the older version, which was the older syllabus. So first thing that we need to understand, what is this rapid revision is all about and how this rapid revision will go on. So as the name suggests, in rapid revision we are going to have a look at the complete overview of the content. So the complete overview of the content we are going to have a look at. These rapid revision classes are going to be helpful for you well before the examination, so that the entire syllabus can be quickly revised, so that you people could be able to understand the highlights of the subject that we have. So what I will do is that I will take you through the entire subject that we have in strategic management, all the chapters, what is the learning objective of the chapters, and we are majorly will be focusing upon the conceptual clarities. So what is the concept is all about, and what elements are going to come in that particular concept. What are the key terms that you have to observe? As you all know that for theory paper in CA, it's very important to pay attention towards the key terms, because examination you cannot write it in a generalized way. So you have to understand certain key terms. So I will take you through even those key terms also, which is majorly important. So understanding the concept and focusing upon the key terms, that's how our journey is going to be. Again, this is not an elaborate explanation of the subject, have to keep in your mind. So we are going to do a rapid revision of the entire subject. So obviously it is going to be in a rapid form only, but certainly we will try to understand the fundamentals and basics also. So what is that concept is all about, how it has been conveyed, in that way we will try to cover it up with the things. So this is what I have to tell you. So if you pay attention towards the things that are going to be discussed in the coming sessions, definitely it's going to be beneficial for you people to revise the entire subject in a short span of time, well before your examination. So let's hope the things will do well. So let's going to start with the things. You all are aware, by this time it's not that first time that you people are going through these things. You all are aware that your strategic management consists of well defined 8 chapters. Each and every chapter has its own meaning. Each and every chapter has its own content, which is somewhat relevant to the previous chapter. There are certain chapters, if you ask me, which are interconnected to one another. So the first chapter that we have, I'll take you through that, and we will see what this chapter consists of and what we can learn with respect to this chapter. So as you can see here, the first chapter that we have is business environment. That is your first chapter that we have in the strategic management, business environment. So for any chapter that we learn, it's important to understand the learning objective of that particular chapter. Learning objective. It's not that simply they have been titled like that. There is a meaning and there is an intention to define that particular title. So let us try to understand the learning objective first. What is this chapter is all about and what we are going to learn. That's what I was talking about, conceptual clarity. Without knowing what the concept is all about, what is the use of going through the subject? As the title suggests, business environment. In this chapter, we are going to study about 2 things. One, we will discuss about business, and the next thing we will deal about environment, put together business environment. So in a nutshell, if I have to tell you, in this chapter we are going to learn about different environmental factors that are surrounded by a business. Environmental factors, every entity of this universe is dealing with different kinds of environmental factors. So even a business also deals with different kinds of environmental factors. So what sort of environmental factors that a business is going to deal up with? So we are going to know about all those environmental factors that a business is going to deal up with. So you know that all the environmental factors have been majorly categorized into internal and external. Henceforth, external is into micro and macro. Some of the components of micro and some of the components of macro we are going to discuss. So simple sense, in this chapter we will understand about what is business and what are the environmental factors that are surrounded by a business, and how these environmental factors are going to show impact on the functioning of a business. Because for a business it is very much important to understand about those environmental factors. You may ask a question that why it has become important to understand about those environmental factors. Because before I start the content of this chapter, I would like to quote a golden statement with respect to environmental factors. You know the micro and macro components, customer and consumer, competitor, organization, market, suppliers and intermediaries will come into micro. Macro we have demographic, economic, political, legal, socio-cultural, technological and global. These are all the environmental factors, and different environmental factors generally will have different sort of influences. So here, a golden statement that I would like to tell you with respect to environmental factors, just to have conceptual clarity. It's not that whether it is going to be asked for the examinations or not, just to get a conceptual clarity. If a business is not responding to the environmental changes, it cannot survive. A business which is not reacting to the changes of environmental factors, it cannot prosper. That's why a business has to understand the environmental factors. A business has to respond to the changes that takes place in the environmental factors. If not, it is not possible for that business to survive. For that reason, as a company, it needs to understand about all the environmental factors that are surrounded by a business and how they are changing. If any changes takes place, how those changes will have impact over the functioning of business. All these things have to be understood. So I am expecting that you have understood the learning objective of this particular chapter, business environment. So let's get into the content now. As we can see here, the first chapter and the learning objective has already, I have already explained for you people about the learning objectives that I was trying to convey. So in this, first we will try to understand about what is business. What are the objectives of business? Then we will enter into business environment components. Before we go into the components, we will discuss some aspects with respect to environment. There is nothing but what are the characteristics of business environment, how business is connected to the environmental factors, why environmental factors have to do analysis. Ila konni vishayalu untayi, that we also will try to understand. Okay. So major focus of this chapter is going to be on the environmental factors, micro and macro. And before that, we have something called business. So business ki sambandhinchina vishayalu first manam telusukovali. We have different meanings and different perceptions towards this concept called business. Generally people say that business is nothing but being busy. Some people say being busy is nothing but business. This is how generalized statement they will be passed. But in fact, there are certain things which we have to understand with respect to what is business. We will try to know. As the first concept that we have is to understand about what Peter F. Drucker is all about to say about business. So as you can see on the material, as it is a rapid revision, conceptual explanation will be provided straight away looking into the material. So when I am going through the things, you people have to have an eye on the material where we will be grasping all the key terms that are needed for us. So the concept is Peter F. Drucker conclusions with respect to business and defining the term business. So what we have to know here, the meaning of business can be studied from three different dimensions. In three different ways we can understand the concept of business: entity view, work view and process view. As you can see there, entity view, work view and process view. Entity view, when you study the business as a corporation which has been created and managed by people, then we call it as an entity view. Okay, we are understanding the concept of business as a corporate or as an entity, incorporation which is created. In that dimension, if you are studying about the business, it is called as entity view. Work view, if you are studying the concept of business from work view, what does it mean? It's called as literature meaning. Nothing but, literature meaning is nothing but when you look into the dictionary, what is the meaning of business says? It's called as literature meaning, that is work view. So what is the work view says? State of being busy. So here you need to understand those key terms, and understanding the key terms is very important. So as you can see, entity view says it can be said as an entity or as a company or as in a corporation created and managed by people. If not, work view, which is we can call it as a literature meaning. So what the literature meaning says, state of being busy or one's regular occupation or profession. If someone asks you what is business, if you have to explain the concept of business in a simple sense, it is nothing but we call it as state of being busy or one's regular occupation or profession. So that's what work view. Simply if someone asks what is business, then you can say that it is nothing but state of being busy. If not, there is another dimension. It's called as a process view. Business can be studied from a dimension of process also. So what is process? In your information technology you will learn about it. What is process stands for? Sequential arrangement of activities to get a desired outcome. So in order to get a desired outcome, if you are arranging all the activities in a sequential manner, then we can call it as a process. In business, we will see a lot of activities which are arranged in a sequential manner. Production is a process, marketing is a process, sales and purchases is a process, accounting and finance is a process. Sequential arrangement of activities to get a desired outcome. That's how we can understand business in a process view also. Because there we will be having purchasing, like as you can see here, some of the process have already given over there, like purchasing, like processing, conversion of inputs into outputs, manufacturing we have, taking inputs and conversion of products and services, selling is a process, marketing of product is a process, and even providing services also. So that's how we can understand about understanding the concept of business as a process view. Right. So key terms I hope you are getting. So business can be understood in three ways: entity view, work view and process view. Work view is the literature meaning, where it talks about state of being busy. Process, manufacturing, purchases, sales, marketing, providing services, all these things can be considered as a process view. So that is about the things, about the meaning of business from three different perspectives. And then next thing that we have is business exists for profit. Even in all these things I could say that general things that we can understand. What is the major aim of business? What is the ultimate aim of business? People say that ultimate aim of business is to earn profits. Generally business is established for the purpose of getting profits. That is the thing that is given over there. It is said that business do exist for profits. Definitely. Profit is the surplus that we get, which is accrued to the owners. People invest in business with the aim of getting some returns. It is rewarded for risk taking. So why the people, those who have invested money in business, will expect profits? Because that is what the return that they expect for taking risk. And profits serve as a motivator for business efforts. Obviously, whatever the efforts that you are putting for your business, whatever the returns that you expect is considered as profit. Profit is a pure motivator for business. These are all the general things that are there as the first two concepts that you can easily go through it. Profit is the measure of performance. Obviously, when your performance is good, when you are effective and efficient in terms of work that you do, certainly you get profit. That's why, as you can see here, the second point says that it is treated, which one? Profit is treated as an ad stick. As you can see, the point has given there, ad stick. Why? For measuring the business efficiency and for evaluating managerial ad stick is nothing but a measuring tool. Profit is a measuring tool. If you want, you can make a note of the meanings when you're going through the content. And the ad stick is nothing but a measuring tool by which you could be able to measure something. Scale is an ad stick by which we can measure. So here, profit is going to act as a measuring tool. through which you can go through the efficiency and effectiveness. That's about some of the content about business. There is a one important thing that we have to understand in this explaining about business. There is a one important concept that we have to understand. Keep this content in your mind. This is important thing. Whatever the things that I am saying, this have to be focused. You have to pay attention. What is that? As you can see in the fourth point that has been given over there, conclusions drawn by Peter F. Drucker with respect to business. So Peter F. Drucker, who is referred to father of management, he has come up with two kinds of statements with respect to business. He has said two things with respect to business. What are they? Only the key terms that I will provide. So make a note of these key terms. First thing, he says that business is created and managed by people. This is the first thing Peter F. Drucker has conveyed with respect to business. Obviously, if a business has to be established, it has to be created and owned by the people. There is no other way that artificially, like naturally, business will establish on its own. That is the first conclusion. What is the term? Created and managed by people. Second conclusion stated by Peter F. Drucker says that, just now I have said, the aim of business is to create profits. Just now I have said, profit is the major motive of business. But you know what Peter F. Drucker is saying? Profit might be the major intention behind doing business, but you are not supposed to do business only for profits. Which means that the aim of business is not only to make profits. There are so many other things which you have to focus apart from profits. Very important in this first concept, Peter F. Drucker, two conclusions with respect to business. So what are the two conclusions that have been drawn by Peter F. Drucker with respect to business? First thing, he says that business is created and managed by people. Second thing, business cannot be measured in terms of profits only. These kind of things are going to be helpful for you while you are writing your examination. Sometimes he may ask a question, maybe ask that what are the two conclusions given by Peter F. Drucker with respect to business? So now two conclusions are in your mind. What is the first one? Created and managed by people. Second one, the motto of business is not only just to earn profits. So if you look at the points, the 2 points conveys the same thing. And already it has been underlined on the content that I was saying that business is created and managed by the people. It is already given over there. That is the first conclusion stated by Peter F. Drucker with respect to business. And next one, he says that business cannot be explained in terms of profits only, as you can see there. Which means business, you are not, of course, maximizing profits, economic benefit is going to be one of the major thing that is needed for business. But simply don't do the business for the purpose of profit maximization. There are plenty of other things that you have to focus apart from profits. Now a question will come in your mind. So you are saying that making profit is not one of the objective of business. Then what are the other things that I have to pay attention? If profit making is not the whole and sole motto of my business, what are the other things that I have to pay attention? For that we have a next concept which is of objectives of business. As per the term which says here, if making profits is not one of the motto of the business, then what are the other objectives that a business has to pay attention towards? So for that, our next concept will talk about objectives of business. We will get into it in a while. So this is the first concept, understanding business, and Peter F. Drucker, two conclusions of business. Business can be studied from three different perspectives: entity view, work view, and process view. And at the same time, Peter F. Drucker has drawn two conclusions for business. So what Peter F. Drucker is saying? He says that the first conclusion, business is created and managed by people. And the second conclusion, he says that business cannot be measured in terms of profits only. Only by means of profits, you cannot judge the business. There are so many other things which you have to pay attention for business. So we'll come to know that. So this is the first concept. I hope you people are getting what I'm trying to convey. as you are revising, this revision should help you to recollect the things immediately, whatever you have learned. Kindly, it is not that again I am educating you on the things. I am trying to revise the things. I am not educating the things. Keep that thing in your mind. You people are here for rapid revision. You people are not here even for rapid learning. It's not rapid learning, it's revision. Revision is something which you have already learned and we are trying to recollect it. Of course, for some people, it might be help even to understand the concept also again freshly. In both ways, it is going to be helpful for you. So, we are done with our first concept of understanding what is business. In the first concept, as per the second conclusion stated by Peter F. Drucker with respect to business, he says that business cannot be measured in terms of profits only. If business cannot be measured in terms of profits only, then what are all the other things that business has to pay attention towards? On that case, our second concept will come, which talks about objectives of business. Objectives of business, which is nothing but objective is nothing but end result. What exactly business aims at? What exactly business targets for? So obviously, you will be thinking that the aim of business is to make profits. That you are thinking the whole and sole purpose of establishing business is for the purpose of making profits. But apart from that, what are all the other objectives that as a business that have to be focused upon? As you can see, our next concept will talk about our next concept is all about as you can see here, objectives of business. As you can see here, objectives of business. Objectives. What are all the different objectives that a business needs to have? What is objective is all about? End result. What ultimately you wish to achieve. What is the ultimate goal of a business is all about. So, we will see here certain objectives. So, the points have says here, generally it says that any purpose that you wish to work for, it's called objective. The thing is already given over there. A business does not have only one objective, a business will have multiple objectives. Among those multiple objectives, earning profit can be considered as one of the major objectives. So, that is the point says here. So, you have to make a balance between all these objectives. It's not that only one objective you will pay attention and the rest of the objectives you will leave. As a business, you have to pay equal amount of importance for all the objectives. They have to be properly balanced. The first thing that you have to keep in your mind, there are 5 objectives for a business. By making these things in your mind, it will enable you to recollect the things when it is needed. So, there are 5 objectives for a business along with the profit. It's not that only for profits you do business. So, we will quickly try to understand the 5 objectives that we have, as you can see over there. First, I will take you through all the 5 objectives. So, the 5 objectives goes like this. The first one that we have is, as we can see, the first objective that here we have is survival. That is the first objective. And the second objective that we have is stability. And this is the second one. Third one that we have is growth. Fourth one is efficiency. And the last one is profitability. These are the 5 objectives that any business can have. Every objective will have its own purpose. So, I will just take you through the briefing of these 5 objectives. Carefully pay attention towards it. By looking at the term, you can easily understand what are these objectives are aiming at. So, the first objective is survival. Once you start your business, it's not that in the very beginning you will think of earning profits. It is not possible also. So that the first objective that you have to keep in your mind when you do your business is that first let me survive. Survival is nothing but staying in the business for a longer period of time. So when you start your business, this is what you have to first think about, that let me stay in the business as long as possible. That have to be your first aim. It's not that in the very beginning itself you will be thinking of let me earn profits. As I have started the business, the very first thing that I am thinking that let me be #1 company in the world. Practically it is not possible. So that's why the first objective that it says that you have to pay attention towards survival. Survival is the first primary objective that we have. It is nothing but an anxiety, a determination you will show to stay in the business as long as possible. So first think about survival so that you can stay in the business for a longer period of time. So that you can prove the market that you exist. So that is what the point says. This generally you have to pay attention towards when your company is new. So just now you have started your company or your company is in a critical situation. In these two cases, think about survival. If yours is a new company, then you have to think that let me stay in the business for a long time. If your business is in the critical situation, which is about to close, even in that situation also, you have to pay attention towards your survival. That is a point says over there. Oksaari quick ga mere point chuste. It has been survival will become very important, as you can see, during the initial stage of establishment or during the economic adversity, where a lot of economic crisis is going on. Your business is not able to survive with respect to those crises, then think about survival. There are so many reasons the firm can survive for a longer period of time. If a firm has to survive for a longer period of time, there are so many things that will contribute. Some things have given over there. Nature of ownership. If the top management, the people, those who are leading the company, if they are strong, then your company can survive. And at the same time, competent management. Your management has to be strong, not only top management, all the managers that you are working in your company, all the top executives that you are working in your company, they have to be strong enough, competent, skilled enough. Then your company can survive. Financial strength of the enterprise. If your company is not financially strong, then it is not possible that you could be able to survive for a longer period of time. And the nature of business, what sort of business that you do, it is also defines whether you can survive or not. And finally, overall industry conditions. When the industry is in less profits, then you cannot ensure that your company can survive. So all these things will contribute whether the company is going to survive or not. Initially, what is survival? The key term is an anxiety to remain in the business as long as possible. Key terms are very, very important for you for your examinations. While you are writing the exam, you are not supposed to generalize the content. You have to ensure that making certain key terms in the paper, don't generalize it. Like suppose if a question has been asked, objectives of business. A student is having a habit, he will never come to the conclusion. He will be writing that following are the objectives of business. Each and every objective is very important for business. Without those objectives, a business cannot survive. But nowhere you are writing what are the objectives. That might be applicable for any other kind of examinations that you write. But for your CA, your board strictly expects that you have to provide key terms. I'm not saying that copy paste exactly whatever it is there, sir. We are not photocopy machines that exactly we can print things over the question paper on the answer sheet. It's not possible, I know that. But you are not supposed to overgeneralize the content. The moment survival, you are trying to explain about survival. No, don't say that this is the first objective of business. This is very important for business. Not, these things are not entertained. Straight away go to the content. It is nothing but an anxiety to remain in the business for a long time. One of the objective along with the rest of the objectives that a business can pursue, where it can be pursued when the company is new or in economic diversity. These two key terms are important. And then different reasons which will contribute for survival: ownership, financial capability, management caliber, general industry conditions. Let's suppose the first objective, survival. Second one is stability. You have survived, you have proven. Then the next thing that you have to do is that try to do your business in a stable way. You have to maintain stability in your business, not to have more ups and downs. In an efficient manner, in a consistent manner, you should do your business. So that's what stability says. So it's generally stability and equity we will discuss about when we go into the strategies. We have a chapter called corporate level strategies. There we will come to know what is stability stands for. There more elaborately we will understand. So stability says that staying remain in the business that you do, not going into any new businesses. So without going into any new businesses, if you prefer to stay in the current business, dealing with same kind of products and services, it is referred to stability, where the risk will be very less for the business. So that's why it says there, stability is nothing but it is a very less risky objective, as you can see over there, in terms of managing time, talent and other resources. That's about stability, staying, remaining in the same business. Survival is, we could say that. Survival is nothing but an anxiety to ensure the company can last for a longer period of time. You have survived, you have maintained stability. Now don't maintain the stability for a longer period of time, you cannot grow. That's why you have to witness some growth. Your company should show the signs of growth. Once you have proven, once you have established, now you need to focus upon new things. So if you have started business with one kind of thing, don't stop over there. Look at the big companies. Reliance started business with textiles. On time being, what happened? They have entered into plenty of other areas, plenty of other industries that they have entered into. That's how your business aim has to be. That's about growth, where you are trying to grow your business in any one or other ways. There are different ways where you can represent your growth by increasing your sales volume, by increasing your profits, by entering into new businesses, by acquiring new firms, by merging with the other companies. Like this, you can witness growth. And next is, so that is about growth, diversifying your business. Next is efficiency, effectiveness and efficiency. What is generally efficiency is represented as? Efficiency is nothing but doing the things in the best possible way. So that's what efficiency talks about. Doing the things in a best possible manner, doing the work in a prominent way without any errors, it's called as efficiency. So once you have survived and then maintained stability, you have witnessed your growth. Once the growth has come, maintain efficiency. As you have become a very big business, now it does not mean that you will not doing your work in a best way. Anyways, I have got a lot of reputation in the market. Customer will definitely only buy my product. This kind of confidence that you have got, then you cannot do your business. Customer will definitely change their mind to go ahead with the new products. If that should not happen, what you have to do, you have to maintain efficiency. Doing the work in a best possible manner. That's about efficiency. When you grow, maintain efficiency. If you do all the things, you have survived, and then you have maintained stability, and then you have witnessed growth, and you are maintaining efficiency. When you fulfill all these four objectives, ultimately you will be in profits. So if the four objectives have been fulfilled effectively, the last objective says that you can be in profits. That's what profitability is all about. That's what this says. They're generally, an organization primarily is motivated with an objective of profits. Some companies even solely work towards the motto of profits only, and some companies believe that. I will take you through one of the major thing that says here. Just have a look on the things. B point, if you observe, what is the B point says? Some may even say that profit is the sole motto of business enterprise and all other objectives are facilitative to profits. So profit is the major aim all other objectives. So stability, survival, efficiency, growth. Why all these objectives? All these objectives are facilitative towards profits, which means that whatever the above objectives that you are fulfilling, why you are fulfilling, so that ultimately you can gain profits. So that is the point, says all other objectives are facilitative towards profits. Generally profit belongs to owner because he is taking the risk of starting the business. That's about the 5 objectives: survival, stability, growth, efficiency and profitability. Any subject, we can stick on to the subject for a longer period of time if you try to understand the subject to some extent in a generalized way, so that you can remember the things. Like simply, if these 5 objectives, if you have to remember, I'll tell you a simple logic. Like you don't need to put lot of efforts in the examination to recollect these 5 objectives. By following certain simple logics, you could able to recollect the things. What is that? Let's take a general situation I am trying to create to understand about these 5 objectives. You have bought a seed and you have seeded that into the like a wetland or so. So once you seeded a seed, or you have a small plant and you have rooted that plant into the earth, either of the case that you take. Let to be more clear, like you have taken a small plant and you have seeded it. What is the first thing that you expect from that plant? The first thing that we expect that the plant is that let it be survive in that earth, so that it can accustom with the earth. You water it, you ensure that it will get proper sunlight. Once you accommodate with all these things, the first thing that you expect that let this plant survive. How you can know it got survived? When it gets new leaves, then it is an indication that the plant got survived. So if the new leaves are coming, then it means that it got survived. Once it got survived, the second thing that you expect from that plant is that it has to grow in a stable way. It's not that it is going downwards and it is going to somewhere. So you have to expect that it has to grow in a stable way. So you maintain stability. Is it okay if your plant is having only stem, it does not have any branches? That is not called as any plant. So obviously when it is growing, what you expect? You expect certain branches to the stem. Branches is nothing but growth. Obviously for the branch, we will have a fruit. If you have seeded a fruit plant, you will have a fruit. Now, how the fruit has to be? It has to be tasty, efficient. It's not enough to have the fruit. It has to have some taste. So it is nothing but efficiency. The fruits have to be tasty. If the fruit is tasty, ultimately you will be in profit. Simple situation you have created. 5 objectives are in front of you now. Now you don't need to memorize these objectives by sitting and reading it for 100 and 1000 times. Kindly don't read to remember, read to understand. Once you understand what is happening over there, then the subject stays with you. If in the examination, if you have to come ahead with this concept of objectives of business, simply remember the situation. Okay, I have bought a small plant and I have seeded. First, I wish the plant have to survive. Then I'm expecting it to grow in a stable way. Then I need some branches which is of growth. And for the branches, the fruits have to be tasty, efficiency. When the fruit is tasty, then I will be in profits. Look, isn't it simple to get into the subject, to understand it and to remember it? So the 5 objectives are clear. One last time: survival, stability, growth, efficiency and profitability. So as the first concept, we have discussed what is business, and Peter F. Drucker 2 conclusions of business. And the second concept we have discussed about different objectives of business, 5 objectives. Apart from these 5 objectives, there are plenty of other objectives also we can focus upon, like technological dynamism, self-reliance, and we could discuss about competitive advantage. Like this, plenty of other, customer satisfaction, CSR, corporate social responsibility, these will also be some of the other objectives apart from these 5 objectives. As some other objectives given over there, technology wise you have to grow, competitive strength, gaining competitive advantage, self-reliance, you should have self-trust, CSR, corporate social responsibility or contributing for social welfare, that also have to be one of the objectives that nowadays companies have to focus upon. Being part of the society as a company, what you do for the society without expecting anything can be considered as social responsibility. So that is about the second concept that we have, objectives of business. This entire chapter, let's divide this chapter into 3 learning objectives. First one, to know about business. Second thing is to know certain aspects with respect to business environment. Third thing is to know the components of business environment. I was supposed to tell this in the beginning, but somehow this entire chapter we can divide that into 3 parts. First one, to understand a few things about business. Second thing is to know few things about business environment. And third thing, to understand about the components of business environment. So first thing is over, what is business? First objective, understand the business into 3 dimensions. Peter F. Drucker, 2 conclusions of business, and then objectives of business. First objective is over. The second objective that we have is to understand different aspects with respect to business environment. Nothing but what sort of characteristics business environment have, and then how business is connected to the environmental factors, why environmental factors analysis have to be done, how business is going to respond to environmental factors. These concepts we will pay attention towards. So these are the things that we have to know in the second. And the third objective, components, internal and external. Hence, external is into micro and macro, micro components and macro components. By paying attention towards the key terms, in the coming concepts, I will take you through some of the ways by which you can effectively understand the subject. Even I will take you through that also. Okay. So, our second learning objective we are entering into now, to understand different elements with respect to business environment. In that, the first thing that we are going to learn is characteristics of business environment. So, what sort of characteristics does these environmental factors consist of? Simply keep one thing in your mind, that environmental factor consists of 4 kind of characteristics. And key terms, again and again I am insisting, key terms are very important. Hence, the following characteristics that we are going to discuss now, they will be applicable for these environmental factors. We can say this is what environment is all about, because all these characteristics have been met. Carefully pay attention. First one is, environmental factors are very complex. So if you want, you can make the general meanings of these terms. As you can see in the material, the very first key term that you have to remember is complex. Keep this thing in your mind, complex. So if you have to know what is this complex stands for, just when you are revising, if you have to know as a general meaning, complex is nothing but, we can say it is as difficult. Just you better make a note of that, Andy. Difficult. Complex is nothing but difficult. Okay. So on that case, it is saying that environmental factors are very difficult to understand. Why environmental factors are very difficult to understand? Why they are not simple? Because a company is not dealing with one environmental factor. A company deals with plenty of environmental factors. And every environmental factor will have its own kind of influence over the business. Suppose, as a business, you are studying only about customer. You need to study only about customer. Then it becomes very easy to understand what is this customer thing is all about. But as a business, you are not only studying, you are simply not only studying about customer, you have to pay attention on plenty of environmental factors. Customer, competitor, supplier, intermediaries, then demographic, economic, political, legal, socio-culture, technological, global, whatnot, plenty of environmental factors. Hence, it consists of plenty of environmental factors. It becomes difficult for you to know about environmental factors. Excuse me. So, one more thing we can add here is, it is very easy to understand about environments in parts, but it is very difficult to understand about environment as totally. If as a business, if you have to study about only customer, only competitor, only supplier, then it becomes very easy. If not, instead of that, you have to study about the whole environmental factors, then it becomes difficult. That's what the point. When we are understanding complex, the thing that has to come in our mind is that it is easy to understand about environmental factors individually, but it is very difficult to understand about the environment collectively. That's why business says it is complex. Because lot of events, lot of factors are there. Second thing that we have, as we can see, environment is dynamic. So the second key term that you have to keep in your mind is that environment is dynamic. Okay. So here we should know what is dynamic stands for. So if you want, you can make a meaning of even that also, dynamic. So what is dynamic generally stands for? If you want, you can make a note that dynamic is something which is rapidly changing, whichever is fastly changing, it's called as dynamic. So these environmental factors are rapidly changing, they are never stagnant. Environmental factors are never static, they'll be keep on changing. That too, they will change in a very rapid manner, not even slow manner, they will change in a very rapid manner. That's why the second thing says that they are dynamic. How these environmental factors changes, in which way they will changes, it's very unpredictable for the companies to understand. That's why it says that they are very dynamic. So complex is nothing but difficult, because it consists of lot of events, lot of factors, easy to study individually, difficult to study collectively. When I say dynamic, it will be keep on changing. In what way, in what time, in which way these environmental factors will show respond. It's very unpredictable to understand. That's why it says that environmental factors are dynamic. Hope you're getting the key terms. Complex is the one key term, dynamic is the second key term. Then the third key term that we have is multifaceted. Okay, so the third key term that we have is multifaceted. So let's try to know what is this multifaceted is all about. So I'm just trying to take you through all these key terms. The third key term is multifaceted. You can write a general thing over there, multifaceted. Multifaceted is nothing but multidimensional. Multidimensional. What is this multidimensional? I am trying to give the technical term along with the general thing also for you people, so that you can understand it, but don't write it in the examination. You have to write it multifaceted only. Multifaceted is nothing but multidimensional. What does it mean? These environmental factors will not have same kind of influence over all the organizations in the same way. A particular change that takes place in the environmental factors will try to show impact as an opportunity for one business and a threat to the other. Hence, they are trying to show different kind of influences on different organizations. For one, it is acting as an opportunity, for the other, it is acting as a threat. We call it as multidimensional. the impact of environmental factors will be on different businesses in different ways. On a simple example note, when a government has come up with the concept of GST, it's not for a business. GST is a major environmental change because political and legal environmental factor, it can be treated into political. Government has made a new policy, GST, as a form of indirect tax. Now this GST has not provided benefit for all the organization, neither it has given loss to the all businesses. For some businesses it acts as an opportunity, for the other it represented with a threat. Hence, a single or a particular change that takes place in the environmental factors will act as an opportunity for one business and threat to the other. Due to which we have to call environmental factors are multifaceted, nothing but multi-dimensional. A change that takes place in the environmental factor will act as an opportunity for one business and will act as a threat to the other. That is what multifaceted. So if you observe the point, it says here, it can be act as an different people will try to think in different ways. For one it is an opportunity, for the other it is a threat. That's about multifaceted. Three things are over. The fourth thing, the key term that you have to remember is far-reaching impact. As you have seen, I have highlighted that far-reaching impact. What does it mean? These environmental factors may not have impact on an immediate basis, but they will definitely show impact in the long-term profitability and survival of the business. Immediately they may not show any impact, but definitely they will show impact on the long-term profitability of the business. That's why it says that the environment will have a far-reaching impact. 4 characteristics that business environment is going to have. What are the 4 simple terms that you have to remember? Complex, dynamic, multifaceted, far-reaching. Complex, why it is difficult? Plenty of environmental factors. One is connected to others. Everything will have its own influence. Dynamic, rapidly changing, fastly changing. Multifaceted, multidimensional. A single change in the environment will have its impact on different businesses in different ways. For one, it has been welcomed as an opportunity. For the other, it will act as a threat. Far-reaching impact. So what does it say? It says that it will show impact on the future growth and profitability of the business. So that is about our first concept with respect to second learning objective. Keep this flow in your mind. In the first learning objective, we are done with understanding about business and objectives of business. In the second learning objective, we are trying to understand about different aspects with respect to environment. In that first thing, we have come to know the characteristics of business environment. 4 characteristics, key terms: complex, dynamic, multifaceted, far-reaching impact. The second thing that we have to know about environmental factors is that the second concept that we have to know with respect to environmental factors, we'll try to know about it. So the name of the concept is, first, understanding the concept is very important. A certain relationship exists between our business and along with its environmental factors, because there are few things that a business takes from environmental factors and there are few things business gives to the environmental factors. This is where we call it as the relationship exists between organization with its environmental factors. What sort of things that have been exchanged between organization and environmental factors? That's why if you observe the concept, what it says: interactions, exchanges, and relationship between whom and whom? Between organization and its environmental factors. Understanding the question is very important. What sort of relationship, interactions and exchanges that takes place between organization with its environmental factors? I will simplify this concept very easily. A business is going to exchange three things from the environmental factors. Keep this thing in your mind. A business is interacting with the environmental factors, so it is exchanging three things from the environmental factors. Only three terms. What are they? First, exchange of information. Second one, exchange of resources. Third one, exchange of power and influence. Very simple thing. Exchange of information, exchange of resources, exchange of power and influence. Even that exchange also, few things the business will take from environmental factors and few things a business will give to the environmental factors. Exchange is mutual interaction, right? Few things a business is taking from the environmental factors and few things which is giving to the back to the environmental factors. Inflow and outflow. That's how we will study. So the three things that I have said, what are they? As the first one that is given over there, exchange of information. And the second thing says that exchange of resources. And what is the third thing says? Exchange of influence and power. These are the three things that a business is exchanging with its environmental factors. Again, in this also two things. Inflow, what comes in, outflow, what is going out of the company. Both will happen, inflow and outflow. So first one, exchange of information. Inflow and outflow. Some information will come into the company and some information will go out of a company. Inflow. From where a business will get information? When a business study about the external environmental factors, it will get some information. External environmental factors, micro or macro. Micro or macro, by studying the both environmental factors, a business will get some information into the company. That is about inflow. As you can see here, inflow, by the studying the variables in the external environmental factors, a business will try to generate the needed information that it wishes to get from the environmental factors. Not only getting information, as a business, it has to give some information to the environmental factors, vice versa, inflow and outflow. When a business is trying to give the information to the environmental factors, outflow, this will happen in three ways. Outflow of communication from business to the environmental factors, it will happen in three ways. What are they? In how many ways? First one is voluntarily, second one is inadvertently, and the third one is legally. As you can see, there are three ways by which information will goes out into the environmental factors. Voluntarily, inadvertently and legally. Voluntarily, here intentionally company is providing this information to the environmental factors. So what sort of information company intentionally provide to the environmental factors? Product advertisement. Company intentionally, advertisement is nothing but you are getting some information about the product. So information is going out of a company to the environmental factors. So product advertisements, road shows, customer meet, annual reports, all these things are intentionally companies providing to the environmental factors. That is one way. Second one, inadvertently. Here company is not doing this intentionally. Environmental factors will come to know about simply by the behavior of the organization. Previous one is intentionally, company is intentionally providing this information to the environmental factors. Inadvertently, company is not intentionally providing this to the environmental factors. By the behavior of a company, we can come to know what exactly happening in the business. By the behavior of a company. Suppose if a company, all the employees have announced VRS, voluntary retirement, or the company is going for new recruitment, or the company is trying to appoint a new board, this is automatically sending some information to the environmental factors. So that is about inadvertently, which means that by the behavior of a company, you could be able to understand. Third one is legally, where law says that this kind of information you have to give, like reports, every quarterly report that you have to submit, some legal formalities that you have to fulfill as a company, where law says that you have to provide some information, reports to the government agencies, investors, and even to the employees, trade unions and professional bodies, you have to submit certain reports, where legal information you have to provide. So this is about outflow, three ways: voluntarily, inadvertently, legally. Voluntarily, intentionally companies providing this information to the environmental factors. Inadvertently, by the behavior of a company, we can come to know about the information about environmental factors. Legally, law says that provide this information. That's about exchange of information, inflow and outflow. Second thing that we have, exchange of resources. You all know what are the resources for a business. That is nothing but like 5 M's or 4 M's. Nothing but men, mission, material, money, methods, resources. From where these resources will come? From the environmental factors. Men, mission, material, money and methods. All these things we get from the environmental factors, inflow. And outflow, what we give products and service to the environmental factors. That's about inflow and outflow with respect to exchange of resources. It's already given over there. We'll take men, money, material, methods, machinery as inputs and we'll provide products and services as an outflow. Simple thing. Environmental factors into what we take and for what we give for the environmental factors. Inflow and outflow, exchange of resources. What is the third one? Exchange of power and influence. A business get influenced by the external environmental factors. All the external environmental factors will try to influence the functioning of business. Political, legal, government, socio-cultural. These environmental factors will influence the business. That is inflow. A business is getting influenced by the external environmental factors. Outflow. In some cases, not every time, in some cases, some big companies will be showing influence over the external environmental factors. This will not happen in every time. In exceptional cases, this happen. If a company is very big, it can have certain influence over the functioning of the external environmental factors. That's about outflow. Not every time, in some cases. That's about inflow and outflow with respect to exchange of power and influence. What are these three things are proving? A business will have certain relationship with the environmental factors. Three things are going to be exchanged. First one, information. Second one, resources. Third one, power and influence. Information, inflow. From the external environmental factors will business get the information. Outflow, in three ways the information is going out into the market. Voluntarily, inadvertently and legally, outflow. Resources, inflow, 5 M's, men, mission, material, money and methods. Outflow, for the environmental factors you are giving products and services. Exchange of power and influence. Inflow, external environmental factors will have considerable influence over the functioning of business. Outflow, some companies only can have their influence over the external environmental factors. Both the cases that will happen. This is our second concept with respect to business environment. Characteristics are over and now we have understood about interactions and relationship between organization with its environmental factors.